And it would continue, unfortunately. The Nitro book has this excerpt. WCW was in Tallahassee for Thunder, a weekly series that had already fallen into B-show status. And earlier in the week, fans were promised that Ric Flair would make a major announcement on the broadcast, which, according to various insiders, figured to concern a Four Horsemen reunion. However, in an apparent miscommunication, Flair no-showed the event, traveling to Detroit to watch his 10-year-old son Reed compete in the AAU amateur wrestling tournament. Flair then missed the April 13th edition of Nitro, an episode hosted at the Target Center in Minneapolis. 6 weeks earlier, Flair had signed autographs at a promotional appearance in the market, helping the show sell out within 48 hours, and the state's governor even declared plans to establish Ric Flair Day in his honor. But before the actual show, in front of an assemblage of Flair's co-workers, Flair delivered his own tribute. Only 2 weeks removed from the Six fiasco, Bischoff reportedly threatened that he would sue Flair for breach of contract. As the room full of high-priced talent looked on, the rhetoric grew increasingly extreme. "I'm going to starve Flair," Bischoff allegedly promised. "I'm going to cause him to move out on the streets." And everybody sort of has that same report. Wade Keller even says that it went down exactly like that, that he's going to make an example out of him because Flair's a liar and everybody lets him get away with it because he's Ric Flair. But he'll never appear on WCW TV again. And he's going to have to take WCW to court if he wants to show up on WWF TV, because we're going to force him into retirement, starve him out, force him into bankruptcy. Him and his family are going to be on the streets, etc., etc. Do you remember this meeting on April 13th at the Nitro in Minnesota?
Vividly. I'm a huge proponent, and I always have been. Family is sacred. They are the unsung heroes of this industry. Without a family behind you, backing you, patching you up, taking care of you, running the home, providing a nice home for you, but putting you back together mentally and physically and sending you back out on the door, out the door to basically go make the living. And family to me are exempt. When he said he was going to starve his family out too, that kicked everybody in the nuts, because in my mind, nobody has the right to go that personal and that deep. I'll back up a little bit from that statement and a little known fact, but just to let you know who I've been and who I've always been. And hey, I've learned to live with it. But backing up to Tallahassee, the fact that Rick was not there to do that very important promo, guess who was down the road 200 miles on vacation with his family in Pensacola, Florida? Janie Engel, who had that information, and I think I had just said to her in passing a week or two before that, "Hey, I can't wait to get down to Pensacola and I need some R&R. You know, things are been running pretty hard and pretty hectic, and man, I could use some time off." I get a call at my hotel as I'm laying out by the pool, Pensacola, with my family. It's Janie Engel. She says, "Eric wants you to come to Tallahassee." "Janie, I'm on vacation." "Arn, he said you need to be there." Okay. I go downstairs, tell my family I've got to leave. I got to go do a 400-mile round trip. And when I'm there, do a promo covering what I think Rick was supposed to cover. So anyone that's ever questioned my dedication to the business, dedication to the company, getting slapped in the face and turning the other cheek and going on with it, that would be a prime example of who and what I am and what I've been. And now a lot of people are going to say, should have stood up for yourself. Well, that same family that I've been taking care of all these decades, who are the rock of my life, I would have put them in jeopardy if I would have just said, hey, I'm on vacation. I can't make it. A lot of people could have done that and got away with it. In my mind, I couldn't. So I just did it. Number one, my company said they needed me. I had a way to get there. It was going to be a 3.5 hour drive both ways. Run upstairs and shower the oil off of you and get dressed and head that way. But that's a pivotal point in all this that probably is unknown until now. If it was known, it was underappreciated. And that's just another piece of the puzzle.
Let's talk about Tallahassee. This situation with Tallahassee sort of comes to a head in Rick's book. He's talking about Reed, of course, who's wrestling in this tournament at 110-pound weight class. Quote, he was only 10 and our family was really looking forward to it, and I let the company know I was going to be there with him. Eric was in Japan, but called to say that I couldn't go to the tournament. They suddenly needed me in Tallahassee for WCW Thunder, the second-rate show that the company aired on TBS Thursday nights. I hadn't been on Thunder for a month, but now they offered to charter a plane to fly me to Tallahassee from the tournament in Detroit on the condition that I paid half of the airfare. If Hogan needed a plane, would they make him pay half the airfare? Fuck that. So I told the company no. Eric fired me from Japan and then sued me for breach of contract, except I didn't have a contract. There was only that letter of intent that I had rejected. The company said that my absence on a single edition of Thunder had cost them about $2 million, a pretty interesting number since I was still getting paid just a quarter of that to work a full year. So Rick's upset about this, but he says Eric calls from Japan. So he has a similar story to you where he's told the office he's on vacation and you have too, and now they both need you here. When did you hear about the, we're going to charter a plane, but you got to pay half? And what did you think of Rick's response that does Hogan have to pay half?
I don't know that I ever heard that.
It's just fascinating to me that, this gets sideways so fast, and it does feel like there's, sort of different rules for different guys. But he's going to get fired from Eric over the phone from Japan and then sued for breach of contract. When do you hear that this has all come to a head? Does Rick give you a call? Does Eric? How do you find out? Is it just the grapevine? What do you recall?
Well, that's the problem with the backdoor stuff. Rick didn't tell me 98% of what went on in those backdoor meetings or lawyer involved meetings. Maybe it was to protect me. I don't know. Because make no mistake, at that point, I was no longer a wrestler. I was in the office. I was doing a office position as a agent / producer. And, that was one of those situations that I couldn't have swayed one way or the other if anyone would have asked me. So I wasn't privy to all those negotiations and all those dollar amounts and you get we'll get you a plane, but you pay half and all that.